Hi, everybody, and welcome to the RHAP B&B for weeks 1 through 3 of BB25. My name is Mike Bloom, and from the recesses of the nether regions, we rise once more. You knew we couldn't go a Big Brother season without the B&B coming back, especially with, honestly, an incredibly ridiculous month of Big Brother so far. We have so much to get into. A lot has happened, to say the least. Two of our first three HOHs are already gone. A Survivor legend is there and playing with her son, who's hooking up with somebody on the side. Pressure Cooker's back, and we are back as well, covering it all in our very silly, fun and games style. Of course, I am not alone here. I have snuck into the B&B, not manning a time laser, but I suppose a podcast laser. Remember when that was a thing? It's been a long month, but I'm so excited to have this person back talking Big Brother for the first time on a podcast this season. Liana Boraas, how are you?
Oh my gosh, I am overwhelmed. I am excited. I am living in my very own nether region, it feels like, just trying to navigate what is the world of Big Brother right now. I tried to make a list of everything I could remember that I haven't gotten the opportunity to talk about. Remember the Goopocalypse? Like, remember
Goopopolis,
night
please.
one?
Please, Liana.
Yes, of
Goopopolis.
course, the city, of course, yes. I don't even know where to begin, but I think this is the perfect place to start.
And we have a perfect guest for the perfect place to start. I'm so excited about this because people have been asking for this collab for a long time, and we are the HOH album we are providing in your ears as hopefully the perfect collab. He is an actor, he is a writer, but he is also the co-host of Keep It on Crooked Media, coming straight from the Crooked verse. So excited to make his B&B debut, talking Big Brother, Ira Madison III. How you doing, Ira?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here. It's nice to talk about. It'll be nice to talk about Big Brother with people, because I'm sure friends in my life are tired of me talking about it.
Have you gotten anyone converted, or are they more so just kind of relaying any seasons of Big Brother through your secondhand information?
Okay, I actually have converted about 4 or 5 friends who are big Survivor fans. So
Okay.
they came in because of Suri, obviously, but I've got at least 3 or 4 of those 5 watching like the feeds, or at least watching at
Wow.
least like reading recaps, or my friend Blair, shout out to Blair, he listens to Taran's recap. So like I've gotten them into it. They're kind of obsessed with it 3 weeks in.
I mean, listen, I'm giving you so much kudos. You arguably may have a better recruitment rate of people into the live feeds than perhaps CBS and Paramount Plus at this point.
I think it helps that this season is, I mean, it happens every season, right? Where, the show is wildly different in the feeds than in the show. But I
Mhm.
think that this season, they front loaded it because whatever, like it's season 25, whatever. They front loaded it with so much nether region, scary verse, like all these competitions and weird twists. And the show doesn't need it this season because every day is like 20 days in the Big Brother house. And I feel like this, if you're not watching the feeds, like you're actually missing like the entire show.
Mhm. Oh, 100%. I think that it's so interesting also to have for fans coming in as Survivor fans. Like, I wonder if they're gonna now start to question Survivor because 'cause they're like, the show is, like, not even the same. So, hopefully you don't have that happening. But I think that that's fantastic because 'cause you've been a fan for I mean, this isn't, your first rodeo. So I'm sure to
No,
now have
season
people.
two.
Yeah, season 2.
Woo! There
Yeah,
we
So,
go. Now,
yeah.
have you stuck with it
OG.
since, or did you dip in and out due to life circumstances or interest in any of the seasons?
You know, weirdly, Survivor I've dipped out of, and then had to go back. But Big Brother, I mean, I think since it's on in the summer, like I've watched every season. I have, of course, the seasons where I'm like, I'm not watching this for a while, and then I like skip like a few weeks, and then I come back to it. But I pretty much just watched every season of Big Brother. So
Well, give me some of your faves. We're looking back on 25 seasons as well as talking about all the crack-filled chaos in this house. Who have been some of your favorite players, favorite seasons, etc.?
well, I mean, so like Daniel Reyes, obviously, icon, and Dan Giesling, I love him. I actually like rewatched a lot of the clips from season 10. a lot because I really like watching. I mean, that was such a fun season, right? Kaser, Janelle. I love Rachel, actually. She is a great, like sometimes she's a face, sometimes she's a heel. Like I love it. Like she's really fun. I am waiting. I mean, I don't know if CBS would ever do that, but I would love them, since they've added in Suri from Survivor, to like take more things from Survivor. You know, like I would love a heroes villain season of Big Brother,
Yes.
for instance.
Well,
you know?
we may have just had an automatic slot in the cast with this most recent evictee.
Heisum was so fantastic, and I need him on a season like that because he's so charismatic, so crazy, so like just steadfast in everything he says, and like his exit interview with Julie was fantastic. I actually loved someone saying, "I don't want to watch these goodbye messages."
Well, I love low-key these like meta text narratives with some of these evictees about, because we've had 3 evictions so far, and 2 of them, Kirsten, remember, was like, "Oh, I thought there'd be more goodbye messages," and here's Heisum like, "No, I'm good." I love that this has become less and less of a tradition now, despite the fact that this has been around since the very beginning.
Yeah.
So then how do you think that this season is stacking up so far compared to your previous seasons?
I think the season is really good. I mean, it's one of my favorites in quite some time. I mean, you have like the whole Surreal of it all, which I think is like upping the gameplay a lot. I think, that's one thing that's getting people from Survivor maybe who are into it now. Just the fact that you're seeing all this gameplay happening. You're seeing people strategize. It's actually really fun for me too. Like, it feels, I mean, you said it felt meta even with the goodbye messages, but like even Sarif's gameplay feels meta because you're watching Survivor, right? And I was explaining to a friend that like she would almost be done with Survivor at this point. Meanwhile, we're less than a third of the way.
Yeah, we
through
just
this
reached, I think, a
season.
quarter of the way either today or tomorrow at the time we're recording this.
You nominate someone for the block, and then you sit around for a week doing nothing. And then you're like, okay, I should be playing the game. I should be doing something, as opposed to Survivor, where you just, you play a competition and then you find out who has immunity, and then you literally have a day to be like, okay, who are we getting rid of?
I think a lot of that also, having Izzy in the house, only further perpetuates that chaos. Because how do you not game 24/7 when you have Izzy right there?
She's all over the place, and I love the casting this season. The casting this season is really great. It's so much different than here's like 90% of the cast is models who've maybe never played the game before.
And that's the thing is, I
Yeah.
mean, look at something like Big Brother 10 as an example, where you have people cast like Jerry and Rennie, where I'm not going to say it's always an age thing, but I do think when you bring in older house guests, they've lived longer, they're much more sure of themselves, and so they're much more likely to be like vocal and push back against things. And look at what Suri is giving, look what Felicia's giving, and even someone like Izzy, right, who's in like her early 30s, but is still now affiliated with this group as well. This is just an incredibly bold house. Subtlety is kind of out the window at this point. We have people openly going into groups to strategize with each other. These people cannot stop talking game. If the endurance competition was stop talking game, it would be the shortest one in Big Brother history, in opposition to the pressure cooker. And Izzy is just such an incredible pump up person. She's the best improviser I've ever seen, because you come to her being like, the sky is green today. She's like, great, I love it. The sky is effing green. Great, we're gonna paint it effing green today. Like, she's gonna take your idea and run with it, no matter what direction it might be. And I adore her intensity, especially compared to the preseason. Granted, it was only a couple days, but like how much people were bagging on her for, oh, she supposedly watched every season twice. Now I very much see it. I 100% think that she did.
People are also very, take it back to season 10, right? Like it's been so long since we've had where you could imagine the season getting to a place like Keisha's birthday. But I could see it getting there on this season because everyone is so vocal about even how they feel about people. I mean, I just love that everyone who hates someone in this house, when they talk about that person, so there's so much vitriol with how much they hate them. You have like Felicia every 5 seconds. I'm walking around my apartment all the time now, just saying like Bowie Jane. You know, like she hates saying her name. All the people who hate Cameron. It's so funny to me, just how much they're like, oh no, I hate this person.
Yes, I think, the biggest crime in reality TV is just being boring. And this cast is anything but that, even just small things. And I think that that's something I also look for in a season. The fact that you had Cameron have the Denzel Washington theory about Felicia, which is now ingrained. Every single time I see an Equalizer 3 ad, I think, oh my God, it's Felicia's brother. It's Felicia's brother. Even little things like that just add so much depth to the season where you have on a high level crazy gameplay, and then you have these really ridiculous tiny memes all going on at the same time, and I think it makes it full bodied, in my opinion, this season.
This season is the first, I think, in Big Brother memory to validate the days of Monday to Thursday in the calendar, because I've always been a proponent of like, why are we doing the veto meeting on Monday? I know they have to edit it for the Wednesday episode, but like now we have so much time. The plan's almost always locked in. They're planning for next week, sure, but like there's nothing reactive happening. It's been nothing but reaction from Monday to Thursday these past, because these people cannot sit on their hands whatsoever. There's no
They don't go to sleep.
Around. Yeah, they can't sleep either. So they are just buzzing around thinking of every possible solution. And it's so interesting. I think a lot of people have been talking about this, but again, going back to the Survivor of it all, we're especially in today's hyper gamey culture in Survivor, you have to try to plan for every scenario, especially the worst case ones. And that's what Suri is still doing, right? It's a tough habit to break of her thinking, okay, let me always plan for if this person I'm working with is in another alliance, what do I do? And so we have backups on backups on backups to the point where we have these like basic giant hard drive towers of alliances where they are taken care of all sides in case of any power failures.
Weirdly, I would say that I feel like current Survivor is more expect the unexpected than Big Brother is at this point, because if you try to play Survivor with any, like knowledge of like the previous seasons or how Survivor should be played, it's like every new season, it's always like, well, here's this random like turn back time twist, or like, oh, by the way, you two aren't involved in this vote. It's just
wait a minute.
There's always something happening.
Did Survivor invent the time laser? Was the Hourglass the proto version of the time laser?
See, they're taking so much from Survivor, not just players. Oh, man.
I feel like also that it does feel like the time laser was several months ago. Because, I get, okay, we got the pressure cooker and that's bringing it back. But, like, even that doesn't feel like it's directly connected to the time laser. But I'm just glad we're getting less of the nether region. That was a hard time for me. Even though it was funny watching them act out, I really want to know what they were running from on this lot.
Listen, there are strikes in place. We are starving for any sort of active content right now. Give me Felicia Washington acting her most petrified, and I am all in on Stilt Daddy. Give me I want Nether Gorgon to be the 18th house guest.
I would actually love... And maybe we'll get this, like one of them, I brought up Rachel Riley. One of my favorite moments was the season she didn't win, where she got voted out, but got to come back in the house to just terrorize people. That would be fun. Like if they had just brought Heisum back to be an asshole to everybody for a week, that would be so funny.
100%. I would have been so on board for that. And you can multiverse it up, right? Like one of those, it'll make sense. I'm sure you can create some tenuous line where he has to come back to the house, because the fact that he was saying, like, I'm not coming back, I'm not battling back. Like he is going full scorched earth, salting the ground. And to see him in the house being able to unleash that chaos, that would do so much more damage than any nether creature could.
Should he like come back in a costume, like if he wears a cape and a mustache, and he's like, "I'm Misa, I'm Heisum's good twin," I suppose, because again he was the villain.
Sometimes I hate the goofy costumes, but I will say there is nothing like watching Felicia like yelling at Jack while he was dressed as a giant chicken. That's when her mob boss emerged. She is I mean, everyone's talking about Suri, but I'm loving it. Like I love that she's playing this game like a Don. Like she is truly like one of the most straightforward house guests I've ever seen too. Just when she's like, when she was telling someone like, I'm putting you on the block, or like when she's telling someone like, this is how it's going. Like it's very straightforward. A lot of like not lying to people, just being like, this is how I'm feeling, this is what you did. And that is honestly really fun, because I feel like the Heisum thing, for instance, in like a previous season, they might have backdoored him, and then like, you know, some of them might have been wishy-washy with like telling him the truth or something, but she really was just like, no, you were talking about other people and other alliances, not bringing the information back to us, so we felt like we couldn't trust you, so we decided to backdoor you.
Yeah, there's no facade, right? It's just telling it
face.
exactly like it is. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think also on top of that, to have Corey in the house as well, as someone
Corey in the
who's
house.
maybe Corey in the house. Love that show.
Corey is so much fun.
Yes, and especially, so I think he's fun individually, and also especially with how upfront those other members of the house are. And he's sort of, you know, maybe more the traditional like game bot of like subversive and that kind of thing. And seeing them go against each other in this weird Cold War that don't think one of the sides know exists. I think that that's been very entertaining to see him react to everything going on in the house.
I agree. He's a really good straight man, I think, quite literally, to like all the shenanigans that are going on around him. And the best part is like he's now been brought into this position where he was kind of the worm in the first week, but the worm has turned, and now he's just like reacting to all the wildness around him. I mean, look at what happened to Corey. First week, he like gets delayed the first hour in the house, and then he comes in and Heisum hates his guts for no reason. And look at this, week 3, he is the one to stick it out and say, no, we are not flipping to keep him. It's been such a fantastic, I mean, I'm glad we sort of did this wrap up in this particular batch of episodes. I think like the Heisum of Heisum, I suppose, in subsequent fall has been such like a fun little arc to watch over, again, just a 3-week period.
It has been, and I will say that that's what I meant too about like you're missing like so much of the show if you're not watching the feeds, because like the show really didn't devote any time to the Corey Heisum feud, and I think that that is so interesting and shows like how this game works, and that like Heisum hated Corey for so long, and then like of course then Corey's going to be the person who's like, actually no, we're not going to save him. You know, like if they had been friends early on, maybe Heisum, maybe he would have wanted to save him.
Yeah, exactly. When you have Heisum saying things like, I can't remember his name because subconsciously I hate him.
Yes.
Like, things like that.
Which he again said out loud to a group full of human people.
So good. Put Heisum on every TV show.
Need him on Survivor.
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
Like,
he'd be fantastic.
Transfer him over.
But God, Tribal Council would be either the best or worst experience.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Jeff, the fact of the matter is that I think Liana's going home tonight, right? Let's just be open about it, right?
Yeah, but that's such a game that I feel like would be better suited for him too, because if you're a comp beast like him, then you are the player who you're winning every week constantly, either for your tribe or then you're winning individual immunity. And then it's fun to see someone backdoor it like this and then have all the other hilarity that comes out of it. But it's such a big arc for someone like that to be winning every competition for weeks, and then finally they don't win, and then it's like, we got to get them out. And then it's like, oh no, would Heisum have a hidden immunity? Like, that would be so much fun.
As long as we get more confessionals, because delivering information when you're in the confessional is important. Like, his such precision, his like sentences that are just so clear individual units. Like, there's something about it that I'm just like obsessed with the way he delivers information.
Honestly, he could make a career doing like ESL videos, you know? Like, he speaks so slowly and so uniformly that I feel like he could be like, I am waiting for the bus, right? And just like record it on a tape and release it to anybody.
There's a lot of focusing on him saying like right all the time, but when he had his interview with Julie, I was obsessed with like he kept answering like her questions and going, yeah.
That was interesting. That was what I had never really heard before. So I was very excited about a new Heisumism. And just that whole interview, as you said, Ira, it was just fantastic from beginning to end. The reaction to the messages, his reaction to the Cirie Jared of it all, like, that was all just so fun.
Yeah. Speaking of the messages, Blue's message to him, I thought that could have been, I think like that could have been a really fun moment, but I feel like she had no part in taking Heisum out whatsoever. So it really feels like she was trying to make a moment. Like, I hate you. Like, if you're talking about everyone else being straightforward in the house, like, she's really not being. And so that sort of like, I haven't liked you, Heisum, you're going, that sort of came out of nowhere for me, because I feel like all she and Jarrett do is hang out in bed for the cop. Like, they're essentially out of the game.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about the showmances, I think. The thing about Blue, like, it felt like it was tied to her fake crying, but that was such a small part of the ultimate narrative. Like, I think Heisum probably didn't even remember that moment occurring. So the fact that she's coming out like this person being so, over the top, getting you out, ha ha ha.
Bye, kitty purr boo.
Yes, boo, kitty purr.
It's. I would almost compare it to like throwing a rock at the Kennedy assassination. Is that too colorful a metaphor? I'm like, I think too.
She actually, Blue is turning out to sort of be what I assumed Izzy might be from early season, and just seeing like clips, like either like the purr, and like, all this, like boots, stuff like she's doing Corey and everything. Like Izzy seemed like she was gonna be like that sort of annoying character.
Meanwhile, Izzy's like, I will effing kill them. I will kill them.
I want that to be a TikTok personally. I'm just like, I want cameo messages of Izzy threatening to kill people in my life.
Yeah. Who can I get a death threat for today?
She's such a fun character, because I feel like, I mean, obviously she's like a ticking time bomb. She's upping Cirie's paranoia, etc. And she does have the Jared and Cirie secret, but she is the most loyal person to Cirie in this house. Like, if Cirie and like Miss Felicia are like the mafia, like she is the enforcer. She's the henchman. Like, she will literally take out anyone who is going after Cirie. And if they do backdoor her, try and put her on the block, like, heaven help that house.
I love it. I mean, it's wild.
To go home.
But it's wild to think that the only reason this happened is because Izzy recognized Cirie's son from her social media. If this didn't happen, who knows in what multiverse that like Izzy would have been brought into this. Now, this holy trinity of her, Cirie, and Felicia in the center of the house, that like, just because Izzy immediately pulls Cirie's son aside on night one and says, I know you're Cirie's son, now she is in one of the best positions at the house.
People also keep, bringing up the fact that, like, Cirie's a Survivor legend, etc., like with like the game and everything. But literally, we started the show with Izzy like recognizing Jared and Cirie, and no one else seems to have like a really big reaction at all. And we've even passed the point of like, I mean, like, Suri didn't like Cameron at first because like he was the one really asking about like Survivor, asking about like the traitors. It seemed like he recognized her, and no one is talking. I mean, that's such a boon to her social game, right? And how she makes people feel comfortable. No one is sitting around on the feeds being like, this Survivor legend, like, is she playing us? Should we get her out of the house? Like, no one is thinking about the fact that she was the last house guest brought in, or thinking about like holding champagne for them all. So like, I would be thinking, so the viewing audience at home is probably like rooting for, she's probably like a big twist. We should be doing something to get rid of her.
I'm so happy you mentioned that. That initial reaction when the house guests came in after the, I guess elimination, block comp, whatever in the backyard. And it felt like she wasn't even there. It was like, are you guys like that?
They thought she was legitimately like a featured extra being like, hello, everybody, drink up.
Yeah. Yes. No reaction to her whatsoever. And I think that, I mean, there are a lot of things in that first episode that I'm sure production was stressed out about, namely 3 of the 4 nominees as that was happening live. But that happened too. I'm sure they were like, they were expecting like they were probably expecting like a bigger, like, oh my God, it's Suri moment. And they did not get it at all.
Yeah, not at all. And then that's why I think they focused so much on Izzy like dragging Jared to the corner because no one else was giving them a single thing.
Yeah. Really wild. People have been pointing this out online too. Like, just wild. Like, no one overheard that because she was very loud. When she grabs Jared, it's like, Suri Fields is your mom. I'm like,
it's classic enforcer behavior, right? Like, dragging him over and yelling at him.
Izzy has the energy of a 5th grade school play. Like, she's overacting AF. She's gonna be like, Jared, your mother is Suri Fields. Like, there's no subtlety whatsoever. I guess it's just like the havoc of everything else happening that they're like, oh, okay, I heard snatches of things. I heard sun and I heard Suri. And yes, it is a very sunny day and Suri is here. So let's move on.
And like, I think that should have been such an indication of Izzy's gameplay that she didn't wait. She immediately ran to him, dragged him over the second she knew it. I was like, no subtlety at all, which is, of course, classic Izzy behavior. I love it.
Yeah. No subtlety, no patience.
No, no.
Barreling through.
Exactly. So, like, no waiting for the right time, none of that. And I think that that's when, because I don't want to prognosticate too much about the future because I'm really enjoying the few weeks or, what feels like years that we've had so far. But of course, there's in the back of your head always this idea of steamroll, right? You have Suri, fantastic player. So many people are loyal to her. But with the chaos that these players are bringing, like, even when it starts to get narrow and narrow and narrower, like Izzy's paranoia is going to be off the charts and she's injecting so much chaos, I think is going to be absolutely necessary for the end game. So while it's so fun to see her potentially backdoored, even though I don't think she'll get voted out, like just that little risk of getting her even more paranoid, I think is going to be so fun.
Not just that, but there's so much, there's so many other elements that are sort of in play too, because, the whole, like, Jared, like, every night is like, I do not know. Blue just might be dumb. I'm sorry. Because I'm like, everything that he has said to her, I'm like, why are you, like, not, like, putting these pieces together?
I've got to sing. I want you to meet my mom. Her name rhymes with Schmeals.
Right? Oh my God.
She hasn't gotten that. And so there's that element of like maybe Jared revealing it. I mean, there's also, just so many other people who, we said Corey, I think I'm really loving Corey versus Suri. And I can't wait until that comes to like fruition once Suri clocks in that Corey, she should be afraid of him in the game, but she hasn't figured that out yet.
Or it's not enough to really realize like what a threat he is, because I didn't actually see this happen on feeds, but I guess Corey had started to, talk to Cameron about the fact that there was, this group that's so that's sort of where the Izzy blind
that got mad over the fact that he didn't pack his bag. And
yes, exactly. Oh, he didn't even pack his bag.
Which that was part of the reason why I kind of did want Heisum to be saved, because I love when someone goes home on Big Brother when they haven't even packed their bag. Like,
I
that's a
don't
real
think
blind
Cameron
side.
has more than one set of clothes. Like, he totally seems like the man to be like, I just wear what God naturally gives me, and I keep on walking.
He's a space cowboy, okay? He's got a cowboy hat and a spacesuit. That's all he needs.
Well, speaking of reads, though, too, it's like, Corey's brother Zach like was a Survivor fan, and Corey's like a Big Brother fan. There is also something in the alliances and, sort of like reads on people in Big Brother versus Survivor, because one thing that's also very helpful on Survivor is you were split into tribes. And so, I mean, you can guess whether or not someone is lying to you or not, but if you're on a different tribe, you pick up things by one, who's being voted out each week when you return. You also pick up, like, when you do the merge, like someone like giving you information maybe about like what's going on the other side. And in this game, you don't really have these markers. Like, you're all voting blindly, like there's no other tribe where you have to figure something out. So like a lot of the times when Saria's been playing, it's like playing within like a smaller group of people before they get to the bigger group of people. And I think, the added amount of gameplay time, and also the fact that you're trying to do reads on like 16 people in the house at once, is a lot.
And some of them are Bowie Jane, who she has painted as some sort of like maniacal genius.
The way that they hate her or think she's a liar and think she's like a schemer, and then you cut to, Bowie Jane on the feeds, and she's just like staring blankly like Scooby-Doo's uncle. Like, she has there's like, you would look at it, it would be like there's like kids like playing on a playground in her head. Like, there's nothing going on when she's sitting there, and yet they think she is up to everything.
I love it. She's like the perfect NPC you have in a D&D campaign of like, I'm playing this character who's kind of part of your party, but like, don't count on me for anything, please.
Right. Yeah. Like, she's just existing, waiting for you to go talk to her. Right.
Yeah.
Like, she's not doing anything on her own. And I think that again, that just makes it so interesting to then see, with such little information, they're taking and running with all of this and hypothesizing all of these ridiculous things about what she's doing. It's and that's why I think, to go back to the casting, this group, like, it's the group together that I think just works so well and is really making this season enjoyable.
I mean, this group, in one word, I would say is extraordinary, in that like they are beyond the ordinary that we get, and they literally are extra. Just the amount of energy that they are. So I have been blown away. I mean, let's talk, I guess, about forecasting ahead here, because we are going to spoil a bit about what's been happening in week 4. We do have the pressure cooker. Now, Ira, as an old school BB fan, what did you think about its grandiose sequel?
I love the pressure cooker. I had a friend's birthday party Thursday night. So it was me being at the birthday, looking up information online about what was happening. 3 of the other people that I'd gotten into it, were at that party too. So I was talking to them about it, because they're usually my like weekly Survivor watch group. So they've been into that. And then it's getting home and it's not sleeping, because I'm just sitting and watching people playing this game in the dark. It was a lot of fun. I don't think I was, even though I'd watched the show since season 2, I don't really think I was a big feeds person until probably around like Dan's first season.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so one, to be able to experience it live on the feeds was just such a really interesting experience to do as a community. Like, I think that was easily the best part of all of it, was seeing the memes on Twitter and being able to, talk to people about it and all of that. And I think for me, the biggest thing about having the pressure cooker come back was just how simple Big Brother can be. That's what makes it beautiful, because my expectations were so high and low simultaneously because the pressure cooker, oh my gosh, it's iconic. It's amazing. Big Brother's going to screw it up. They mentioned a twist. It's going to be twisty. They're going to screw it up. It's going to last 3 hours. I'm going to be so
Gorgon's
disappointed.
going to come in every 15 minutes.
Exactly. And like poke people and push them off the button and all that. Like I was like,
I just imagine someone hobbling in on stilts and just shoving Corey.
Yeah. That's
like who was that? One I'm blanking on her name. Who's the conspiracy theory about?
Yeah.
No, season 15.
Oh, Helen. Helen was pushed.
Helen, pushing her leg off. Yeah, it was so much fun to watch. I mean, Matt peeing out there.
Yes, that's what I said. Okay, this is my point. I was like, look, I want to see someone pee themselves, not because I care about the urine, but because it's the passion, right? Like they care so much about being there that they're willing to pee themselves. And that's awesome. They just stood there for 16 hours or 14 hours, almost 14 hours, right? And it's just, there's something so beautiful in that I really, truly enjoyed about seeing people so passionate about wanting to control a game show on television that they were willing to do all of those things.
Yeah, he's pishing it, you know? It's so if you're so passionate about something that you piss. I think that's a threshold. I think that's something that you need to cross. Like,
right,
I'm not passionate about podcasting. I would pee myself during a podcast.
Exactly. Like if you couldn't get up and you're doing a 12-hour podcast, like Mike, would you pee yourself? Yes, because you were passionate about what it is that you're doing.
That I think should be the litmus test of all future applicants. Like Jesse Tannenbaum sitting there like, but would you pee yourself in the pressure cooker?
Would you? Exactly.
I do want to bring something up because usually when it comes to these types of podcasts, back in the day, Liana and I used to do preseason predictions, and we used to specifically come up with comic book names for the inevitable BB comics scene. Now, we didn't do any predictions this season, both due to like the very recent nature of the cast being released and all that stuff. But I'm wondering if, listen, we're three creative individuals, I'd say, at least reasonably speaking. I wonder if we could possibly brainstorm whenever it comes up, you know, like Final 6, Final 5 in like 3 months or something, what we think some of these identities might be for the people who have been eliminated. So I think Luke is off the table, suffice it to say.
This is just redacted.
Yeah, out of stock. What about Kirsten? Can you think of any possible names that Kirsten might get? This is a tough one because really, I think in the grand scheme of things, unfortunately, as sadly as she got put on the block on night 1, it's gonna be unfortunately one of those, oh yeah, she was on those season type of names by the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't know from the internet, but she winning America's favorite player just from everyone tweeting about her. But Kirsten, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like.
Yeah, exactly.
She talked too much. Yes. I mean, there was that thing. So she did try to start that alliance early, and so did Riley, and that's why they both went out. But
I feel like hers would be one of the cop-out ones where they just make it about her job or something like that.
But
like a biology bombshell or something.
She lied about her job. That's the problem. There's no out.
Oh.
So what did she say her job was again?
So I don't remember what she said. She's a molecular biologist, but I remember she didn't say that. And so that would be it. Listen, I don't think people are changing their game plans based on finding out that a woman evicted day 8 was a molecular biologist. But I have a recommendation, and this is going to be very stupid, but hear me out. Butt foot. Because I'm trying to think about what do we remember about Kirsten, and she came in last when they had to kick themselves in the butt 100 times on national television. That's what got her in this sticky situation in the first place. And it's a take on butt first, right? Butt foot.
No.
Yeah, I can't give you that.
She can't be butt foot?
Not butt foot. The first thing I thought of was Bigfoot. Like, it's like Bigfoot, but butt foot.
So then would she be, instead of covered in hair, she'd be covered in butts?
Covered in, I guess Bigfoot doesn't have a big foot. Like
maybe he does.
The foot doesn't have anything.
I don't know. Liana, let's not bring up the Bigfoot thing again. Okay, I don't want another conflict.
Okay, let's see. I mean that's the problem. And this isn't Kirsten's right. like nothing bad about her necessarily, but because so much of that first week was almost like everything else that was going on, which was Cirie establishing her alliance, the 8, even though like it hadn't fully formed yet, right until Riley's HOH, you still had all of those groupings sort of start to occur. So it was more about like just and that was when Cirie said, I'm not used to living with the person that we're voting out for a few days, because she had already like moved on in terms of the gameplay, because once that decision is made, it's made. So that's why like I would go with something generic about her. I don't know if what'd you say? Butt
foot.
Butt foot. Yeah. See, I can't co-sign butt foot, even though I think it's very creative and you get a gold star for creativity.
Yeah. All right, we'll put a pin in butt foot and let's move on. Maybe Riley is something we can come up with something more substantial about. Riley, I mean, Heisum, I think, is the Hindenburg. I think Riley is sort of like the test balloon that got sent out before the Hindenburg. It's like, I don't know if this hydrogen thing's working out, but still, she had a pretty big crash as well, considering first HOH makes this 8-person alliance with herself in the center. It immediately falls apart within days of it while she is HOH. Then one of the only people she names as the next target wins, viscerally tears into her, and then she ends up getting evicted. What do we think? Do you think this is like something rhymes with Riley and give that the Abira approach to it all?
I mean, I feel like it's going to I feel like it has to reference her being Cameron's daughter.
That was my first thought too.
Oh no.
No, but like that was my first thought, and then I was like, does anybody else know about that apart from the feed? Like, did that show up on the show? I have no memory.
I can't remember if it did, but now I'm like, Riley's daughter, Cameron's daughter, and Denzel Washington. I'm like, Cameron is actually a lot of comedic relief on this show.
I know. I know. As much as I hate, as much as I remember the first weeks, he was just so creepy. Like, at least I have an emotional reaction to him. Just being a total weirdo. Yeah. Would it be like super daughter? And then there's like a picture of Cameron in the background.
That would be so weird. Now, we talked about the Christian job reveal maybe not making waves. I think if people were like, wait a minute, Riley's Cameron's daughter, they might actually, these people would 100% take that as face value. They'd be like, oh, I did not realize Cameron's actually 50 years old and has Riley as a daughter. He's gotten a lot of work done.
But I feel like, did everyone know about that? Because Corey used to make jokes about it, be like, you know, like, and I think like someone else was like, he can't send her home, like that's his daughter. Like, I feel like it became a running joke in the house about him.
I had heard other people mention, I can't remember, but recently, I want to say America maybe said something along the lines of like, oh, Cameron, said something about, you know, being his daughter or something. And someone else was like, you don't want that. Don't want that. So it's become at least known in the house per se. I don't know if that would make it to superhero names.
Did Cameron get a letter from Riley?
Oh, in his HOH basket. Yeah, we should look. We should look.
And many things, much like Cameron's hair, it's full of secrets, and I do not want to dive in there.
I mean, side note about letters, I truly, I mean, well, I was worried about like what was going to happen and what like photos would be there and whatever, like if Jared or Cirie won, but like, I don't know if Jared's going to win anything. Any more. Like the first couple of weeks, it seemed like he was right neck and neck with Heisum as being like, he could have become the new competition.
I mean, he technically won that HOH competition. He just picked the wrong door.
That's another BB weird universe where Jared won that HOH instead of Heisum.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. I wonder what would have happened there. And I think that was interesting for him pushing for the HOH in the first place. Like, why are you doing this? You're positioned nicely in the middle. But oh man, I'm sorry. Like, Jared's a flop. Like,
he is a flop. He is a flop.
I'm sorry, he's a flop. Like, he's so lucky his mom is in that house. When Cirie started talking about this was early in the week, like, oh, I would sacrifice myself for Jared. I was like, you better not. You better not. You sit down, you let him go, because he's just spending so much time with Blue and seeing so many unfortunate things. Like, oh, women are people and I have to respect them. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
That'll
maybe
be a
the
good
time
thing.
laser pulled Jared out of like 1912 of like suffragettes. I never heard of those before.
It does follow in, I mean, it doesn't work for every pairing, but it does follow in a tradition of the show typically having people who are relatives, and like one of them's like an iconic player, and the other one is sort of, all right. I mean, I'm thinking of the Donatas.
One of them is evil.
That season, especially in that season when everyone loved Danielle before, we started just liking her when she was on the other side of the alliance that people really like. Watching her that season with her dad, it was just like, girl, please save yourself.
I know. Now that's how I feel about Suri. I'm like, Suri, please save yourself.
Save yourself. Do some traitor stuff. Be like Sierra voting her mom out in Survivor. Like,
Yes.
we need you to send your son packing.
I don't know. I'm fearful of what Jared. If Jared is saying this much stuff when he is in no discernible danger whatsoever, when he is on the block, he's going to open up the whole Rolodex. He's going to show where the bodies are buried, where they were killed, where they were born. Like, he has so much information. I think he absolutely goes for broke if there is a sniff of him getting in danger whatsoever.
The only way you take out, I mean, I've been thinking about this for Izzy, like if she became a problem too, I feel like the only way you get rid of someone like that is, and it's helpful that Suri has such a social game and all these people who are her shooters on the show, but you need someone to backdoor a person like that during a double eviction episode, because that's the only way to really get them out with minimal damage. Like you send them right out of the house and it's unexpected, and then they don't get a week of like sowing seeds about, or flipping on you, But
I mean, the other option is, I mean, listen, I'm not encouraging psychological warfare. You could make them leave if you wanted to. Even Suri could be like, hey, Izzy, can you pick up my laundry? The dry cleaners are done. And she's like, great, I'll leave the house and go do it. And then she's out. That's it. Problem solved.
Just following her child duties.
That's the thing. A lot of people, I think, claim leaving these reality shows like, I feel like I found a family in this house on this island. Suri quite literally did that. Everyone's making jokes about the Fields family. Now I've seen all the
Matt Fields.
Matt Fields,
the newest,
Fields, Mimi Fields keeps like coming and going, like Judy Winslow. Like, it's fantastic.
The Matt one is the funniest because I feel like, Karen was coming into power and everyone was like, okay, like we finally got like, Suri's gonna have to scramble. Like, what's gonna happen here? And now here's Matt coming to her, and it's like, well, she's just got another soldier. I think that's great. I love the Fields family.
Starting their own band. It's very cute.
Oh, that's a good. Who would play what? So we know that Izzy would obviously play flute. But who would play what in the band? Like, does Suri have lead singer energy, or is she like the drummer? Keeping the beat.
I don't know why.
She's Joe Jackson. She's
right,
like,
exactly. She's not. Yeah.
She's running the band with a tight grip.
Oh, so Jared's definitely Michael then.
Actually, speaking of Izzy and her flute, why has this? I'm surprised that like the show hasn't done like some sort of competition or moment where like they put a flute in the house so like Izzy can serenade people. I feel like some sort of punishment where Izzy has to play the flute for people all day is coming.
Like follow someone around just constantly like playing the flute.
Here's the question though. If Izzy, now there's no like luxury items like you get on Survivor, but I know when you win HOH, you get that basket. Felicia gets her seasonings, right?
Yeah.
If Izzy wins, could she get the flute in her basket?
That'd be funny.
Yeah, can you ask, like, is it only food items, or can you ask for other things? Like, can you ask for a musical instrument? Is that allowed? I don't know.
I think it's like the Airbud rules where like, there's no rule that you can't, so try to do it and see what happens. I would love it. I think people would really be enjoying it at a certain point. And yeah, I think for Izzy, like if she wants to drown out any conversations, we know those walls are thin AF. Just like start tuning out some Aqualung, and then Bob's your uncle.
Like right outside the door of the HOH room, just like right up against it.
Actually, speaking of conversations too, that also I keep forgetting that is also why they also think Bowie Jane is suspect. Because she has the ability to appear in any room when someone is talking game that they don't want her to hear, but she's just stumbling through like Amelia Bedelia. Like she has no idea what they're talking about. It's let's flip this boat, to save Heisum. She's walking in, she's like, "Hey guys, anyone think about their shout outs tonight?"
Yeah, she kind of reminds me of like one of the alternate personalities from United States of Terra. Like she'll just randomly appear at any point and notice just in the character, like, "Hey, good day. All right, what are we talking about?" I agree. Like again, very much NPC energy of you turn around and the game just puts her there in the corner for whatever reason.
She lasts a long time in this game, I see, because unless Felicia like wins and she's like, "I really want to get Bowie Jane out." Bowie Jane is such a funny, interesting person in the game, but also someone that like you would never waste nominations on.
Right. Yeah, she's so interesting to me because she feels like such a nothing, but then to go back to the fact that she just interrupts game conversations. Like she is playing a role in the game by stopping the game from happening. And for this house, maybe that's actually a good thing that they need to just like put the brakes on for a hot second. But who's going to waste an HOH on her? And that's why I think it's so funny that we have so much paranoia about her, because that is literally the only way that anybody would put her up, is because they speculate that she's involved in something deeper.
Yeah, it's tough. Had we not known about a lot of these like inner alliances that Suri has, I totally would have looked at her and say pencil her in for at least Final 4, maybe even Final 3. But knowing the people in this house who can convince themselves to like chop off their own foot if they need to, I could see them talk themselves into saying, "We gotta strike at Bowie Jane before she does. Down Under's going down under. We can't let this happen." And she gets evicted like Kathy in BB12, right? Like someone uses their power to the BB power invincibility backfires, and Bowie Jane ends up going home instead.
That would be a very funny episode, just editing stand-wise, for all these DR confessionals. About how Bowie is such a threat and they need to get rid of her. And then you're just cutting to Bowie not being a threat. And then Bowie's talking to Julie at the end of the episode. And she's like, "Were you aware that everyone in the house thinks you're this mastermind?"
I would love them to just ask Bowie basic questions about the game. Like, how do you think the game works, right? Like, what do you call the person in power? Because I'm not 100% sure she could even answer those. Like, she's just there on vacation.
What show are you on?
Yeah, exactly. That'd be a good place to start. That's a great place to start. An opening question. Should be a softball.
This is the ultimatum, right? Before we move on, I do want to dote briefly on someone who, granted, the Kirsten and the Riley may not have really fed us when it comes to the superhero stuff. Heisum, I feel like we almost got too much to go off of. I'm trying to figure out, like, what would it be so small as just King Heisum?
King Heisum would be good. I was thinking like Dr. Evil, if that's allowed. They could get the copyright for that. I don't know about that one. But just something basic, but like the most villainy.
Yeah. Will wouldn't like that though. But you couldn't call someone else doctor on this show.
I do think they're gonna go with his career though, right? They'll be like, "The doctor is in for evil" or something like that.
Oh, like that's his catchphrase, yeah.
He's so tight-wound and like very blunt and forward that I can see how he's a doctor, right? I am completely fascinated by how he operates as a burlesque dancer.
So true.
Like, is he Gina Gershon in Showgirls? Like, is that who he is? Like, is he terrorizing the younger burlesque dancers on stage? Like, I can't imagine him being loose enough to be like that.
I mean, exactly. I think he definitively goes backstage and he's just like, "Bryce, by the way, you were slow on that 8 count. Just wanted to let you know." I think he's that type of note giver.
Yeah, exactly. Tighten that up. We got to do better. He's not letting loose.
I think it could be because he did reveal. Did he reveal the burlesque secret to the house? I think he did on the first night.
He did. He did. Yeah.
They could do like Doctor by Day, Dancer by Night, or something.
Yeah.
Like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr.
Dancer
Hyde
in the dock.
Dancer in the dock. Oh my gosh, Heisum.
I think this is maybe one of the first seasons ever too where I want Zingbot this week.
Yes.
Like, bring them out. Bring them out. I want everyone to be zinged in the house.
Or we need the zings for the evicted house guests. Like, I need to know what Zingbot would say because I feel like there's so much content that they're leaving on the floor.
Yeah, but then these people are going to be like, wow, did you know that Zingbot pointed out that Corey's wearing a pink hat? What do you think that says? Does that think that pink is a different shade of red? Does that mean he's with red? I think they're trying to hint us towards something.
Well, sometimes Zingbot does like inadvertently or sort of like there's a lot of times where Zingbot will point out that someone is just playing someone else's game.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
And that's
exactly.
Always funny.
I wonder if they like what would the Sari Jared like? Could they mention any like? Would they hint to anything about family or anything like that?
Would they call him like a son of a bitch? Oh, hi, sir. Like, follow that up.
That would be interesting. Yes. Oh my God. That would be so good. Oh, they probably can't, but still.
I honestly, I think Heisum should come back and be Zingbot. And it's not even like reads. Like, it's more so when you have that one Drag Race contestant that's just like really mean and not even like when Roxy Andrews does the reading challenge, right? Where she's like not even funny. She's just mean. I feel like that's what Heisum would be. He's so brilliant at that.
His goodbye message to Riley lives rent-free in my mind. It's so good. He's so mean and so condescending. I don't understand why you put us on opposite sides of the house. Anyway, you're worthy and pure gold. Number 1, you're worthy. Number 2, you're pure gold. What?
I adore Heisum so much. And here's the thing. I understand, like, there's been some interesting discourse about, I think a lot of us have kind of been flocking around this idea of, like, Heisum is just such a fun villain, such like a guy that's not on the problematic side of the villains of BB25, but like has a bit of an ego, had some faults to him that was very fun to root against, especially in this downfall. And then I think people are coming out, at least I've certainly had responses to like my coverage, my articles being like, no, he's a narcissist, he was an a-hole to all these people. I'm glad that he's gone. It's so interesting to look at Survivor and Big Brother because I feel like the fan bases kind of have the opposite problems when it comes to villains. Survivor nowadays, people, especially now that we're a few seasons into the new era and that storytelling style, they're like, we need villains again. We need people to root against. Big Brother, it does feel like there's a commiserate person or people every season that no matter what their infractions might be, someone will glom onto and be like, this is the worst person on earth. And that was Heisum in a way. So it's just been so interesting to see him be treated in the way that I think a lot of BB villains are treated. How Rachel was, to your point, Ira, back during her seasons. But I think on the spectrum of villainy in Big Brother history, Heisum was so much more innocuous, in my opinion. Like, did he say haughty, stupid shit? Absolutely. But was he gold? Yes. Absolutely entertaining from beginning to end.
I really think that there's kind of this push and pull in Big Brother where, there is the reality show portion of it, but then there's also the real world portion of it, and I think there's been so many seasons of like letting people get away with offensive behavior that's like in the feeds and you don't see it on the show, or like actually like bullying people like they did with Taylor last season. I think like a lot of people react to that. And like it's in the past thinking, like we love Russell, like we love like a Janelle, but it's like, if you were watching Janelle's season now, people will be saying a few different things about her online. And I think people also just forget like that's a tenet of reality TV though, like you watch any other show that's not this show, like, Drag Race, Housewives, anything like that, like those people are on the show, they are assholes, but they're fun to watch and you root for them or you don't root for them, etc.
The live feeds especially, I think, throw a wrinkle into it as well, because it really, really blurs that line between characters on television and real people and like getting to know them. And I think that makes it tough to separate all of those things out because like if Heisum treated me that way in real life, I would be so mad. But on my television, more. Like, give me more. Please threaten Matt more. But in reality, like, oh my God, he's behaving horribly. But I'm still enjoying it so much from an entertainment perspective. And those lines can so easily get crossed, understandably.
Yeah. And we don't see that on Survivor, like,
Yeah.
because I mean, I'm sure we'd feel a lot differently about a lot of people if we had Survivor live.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I think Big Brother, as much of a literal pressure cooker as it is, I think is that more warts and all approach. It's the thing, as we've seen with discourse from BB Can this past year, that has people watching the show in the first place. Suffice it to say, Big Brother fans are not necessarily craving the episodes in particular, unless there's like a storyline that they missed out on. The feeds is the show for so many people. And I think there's this interesting aspect of, again, like a study in humanity almost. Now, am I drawing lines of people being like, this is who they are as a person from the way they are interacting within this freezing cold set for 100 days? No, but I think as an overall study of like how humans behave, the fact that we repeat this sort of recursive behavior, almost like what Heisum does to Riley, of how every season there seems to be one person that is typified by the house as a bad person, because it's just naturally within our human psychology to like want to come up with a rationality behind why you're doing something. It's like, well, if this person broke the cardinal rules of the house, then they should go. To see it again and again, it's such an interesting cementing of human behavior over, like, that's what I see it more as, with the realistic blurring lines that they're saying, Liana, more than, oh, if I bump into someone on the street, this is how they're 100% going to act.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you have Jared and Cameron, who are actually either just like awful or creepy. And
yes.
so
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's the other thing too, of like why for me Heisum was so fun, was because there wasn't this like, I don't truly feel that at his heart he really meant any malice, whereas I hear some things and see things that Cameron and Jared do, and I'm like, that is an underlying philosophy you seem to have about treating people that rubs me the wrong way.
Let me clarify. Yeah, that's a very demarcating line to me. It's like, if people are coming in with certain philosophies about race, gender, sexuality, what have you, like, that's very much an indicator of who they are outside of the house, I should say.
Yeah.
Well,
I miss Heisum.
Oh, well,
I'm sorry. I do.
I need I need him on Survivor. I need him on something else. Like, get that man back on reality TV.
Well, Liana, we have a way to memorialize him from what we hear. Let's start moving into the games that we have prepared for this installment of the B&B. And for our first one, we're doing, much like a wedding that Blue and Jared will probably have eventually in the backyard, something new, or something old, I should say.
Yes, hopefully not something blue, like Blue from the...
Oh, see? Another reason why they should get married. They already have 1/4 of the criteria.
Oh boy. Okay, yes. So we are going to play our first game. It is called Casuals Corner. So the way that this game works is I have gone to the Facebook page, which, I don't know, Ira, if you, in part of your BB fandom, spend a lot of time on the Facebook page.
I do not, but I know about the Facebook page.
Okay.
I know that that's where the casuals watch and have a lot to say.
Yes, they do. And it is a beautiful goldmine of understanding maybe some different perspectives about the house guests. And so what I've done is I've pulled comments from the Big Brother Facebook page. I've separated them in sort of to categories. I am going to read 4 comments. 3 are real, 1 I wrote. And so it's up to the 2 of you will go back and forth to try to guess which comment I wrote and which 3 are real. So, Mike, we're going to go ahead and kick things off with you. So we're starting general, just kind of about the season format. Let's see how the casuals are feeling about the season format. So, Mike, your first comment A. What is with this stupid and silly crap? This season is geared for kindergartners. Big thumbs down in all caps. B, this season absolutely, without a doubt, sucks. Is this CBS or Nickelodeon? ... Goofy. C, I'm starting to think that the producers are getting their ideas for twists from a cereal box. Or D, what are they thinking? Stop all this cartoon crap and the Netherlands. FFS.
Oh, see, I could see you write the Netherlands as sort of like you can't tell if it's a joke or not that they didn't say nether region. I did like ... Goofy got the biggest laugh out of me though, which I love. Okay, so we have big thumbs down. We have ... Goofy. We have cereal box. I think you wrote cereal box. I know I'm between C and D. I think you wrote cereal box.
I did write cereal box.
Yes!
I love Netherlands, like Europe catching strays. Over here, I don't know if they meant Nickelodeon. I don't know. I saw a lot of
I know. I think they meant
Nickelodeon
nether
comments.
region instead of Netherlands.
Oh, okay. Well, autocorrect really did them dirty there. So
Surely you didn't mean to write nether region.
surely. Yeah, look, I'll say they were not a fan of the beginning of the season, which is maybe why they've pivoted a little bit, because both the casuals and I think the intense fans are like for this ridiculous
I mean,
premise.
the wild thing is, like, I do agree to a certain extent, like, the show is kind of marketed for families, hence the goo and the wacky sound effects and the chickens. But then also, like, we have now canonized an area and twist within this Big Brother house that refers to someone's private parts, like the nether region. There's no euphemism there. They're just saying nether regions. That's wild. The dose of PG in the G rating of the show.
It's like those people who make those cooking videos on TikTok and they do it wrong on purpose, or like make gross food on purpose to get people to comment on it. That was my personal theory behind nether region and nether gorgon. Because why would you pick gorgon if you don't want it to sound like organ, like nether organ, nether region? I think it's a conspiracy theory. They're doing it on purpose.
That's interesting. Nether. I didn't even think about nether organ.
Yeah. Because otherwise, why doesn't it turn people to stone? Don't the Gorgons turn people to stone? Why doesn't the Nether Gorgon turn people to stone? It's like they don't even know their mythology.
Well, it's more so Demogorgon, right? From Stranger Things?
Yeah, but
I mean, yeah.
But it's very Harry Potter-esque too, in the like floating of it all. It's like a Death Eater.
Yeah.
It is a little bit like especially with the way they edited it with like the whooshing like effect.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, because that thing could not move at the speed that it was edited to.
Slowly stumbling around.
Also, the idea that I mean, yes, there's the Big Brother house, which we know is in like Burbank. But the idea of them stepping out into the Big Brother mythology and being like, actually, the Big Brother house is like in a cul-de-sac. And there are other houses on this cul-de-sac.
I like the idea that they live in the neighborhood from the neighborhood. Like they're just one of the houses, you know?
Oh, is Calvin Johnson going to show up? Oh, no, he's on strike.
Exactly. We respect. Okay. Let's stay with the nether region, Ira, and go to a question for you. So here are your 4 comments. A, let's send Heisum to that dumb never region and don't bring him back. B, why is there a nether region? Where is it? Why can't we see it? C, are they still doing the scary region or whatever it is? D, it took me 3 seasons to get into BB, and this one has turned me off for good. Too much bad scripting, special effects that make Sharknado look Oscar-worthy, and WTF is a nether region. That's what my doctor calls my crotch. Boo! All one comment. That was all one comment.
Mike wrote that one on Facebook.
I want to know who that doctor is. I'm just imagining it down in the rainbow rig, like, let's see what's happening in your nether region.
Let's see. I feel like you wrote the first one.
Okay, let's send Heisum to the never region. I wish I came up with that. No, I said B, why is there another region? Where is it? And why can't we see it? Which is a genuine question that I have. I want to know where it is and I want to see it.
Yeah, is it
they
like
just reappear, right?
Yeah, they just like portal their way.
Yeah, but Jared stayed overnight. It's not like they just get held in a place for 3 hours and then get brought back. That happened with the other people, but Jared legitimately stayed overnight. Did he get like a cot somewhere to sleep on?
It's like that attic that they had people in that one season. Yeah.
But then, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they didn't bother to like, maybe it's just a hotel room. You think it's just a hotel room? maybe.
That feels more like a prize than a punishment then. Like, great.
True,
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not
alone.
for Jared because he, was without Blue, but it's like, yeah, get to spend time away from your 15 roommates for a
Yeah.
day.
Mike, let's go back to you. We're sticking with the Nether. One more question here, this time about the Nether Gorgon. So here are your 4 comments. A, get rid of Gorgon. I can't understand what it's trying to say.
Please, it's Nether Gorgon.
Please use the official title. It is Nether Gorgon, not just Gorgon.
Gorgon.
B, this multiverse stuff is crap. Could not hear what the zombie thing was saying. C, WTF is a Nether Gorgon. This season is a cluster chuck. Or D, what's the Nether Gorgon's favorite food? Gorgonzola cheese. LMFAO.
No! Did someone write a popsicle stick joke about the Nether Gorgon?
I need that one to be real.
I think that one has to be real. I think it's too far out there for Liana. Like, it's too good to be true. But this time, in case it is true, so I'm gonna discount D right now. Oh man, I'm so tempted to say that you wrote Gorgon, as in like Gorgon was his last name, like Nether is his prefix. He went to Nether College and got his Nether degree. You know what? I'll say A. I want to wish this into existence.
No, the mind of the casual came up with A. D is the fake one.
Oh,
I know. I'll go comment it on the Facebook page. That makes it real, brings it into existence.
no, because then you're just gonna fire up everyone again about the Nether Gorgon. They moved up.
I know.
But listen, I agree. I could not understand a thing that Monster was saying. I'm very glad for Matt's accommodation's sake. They did have like subtitles, captions on a teleprompter for them to read along with, because I think that did everyone a benefit, because here is this marble mouth tall MFer being like, rah, 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 and you're like, okay, great, I'll run away from you, I guess, because you're very scary.
I hope Matt. Do they have a door that lets you? This is popping into my head. Do they, like, you can see people walking up to the head of household room, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
on the stairs,
okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking about him being in the room if he won. Like, it would just be people walking in, and he wouldn't
just
even
showing
get there
up.
walking. Just all of a sudden he's turning around like, "Oh, you're here." You know,
Bowie Jane strikes again.
She does that regardless. Yeah.
So add some flashing light for him if someone's at the door or something.
Oh yeah, like
That's a
instead
good
of
idea.
just the noise for the doorbell, like a light or
Yeah.
something that goes off to
Yeah.
give him a little bit of a heads up.
It is good, so they won't do it.
Exactly, right. That's a fantastic idea that
They do
really
that.
takes into account, his needs. And so no, that's not gonna happen.
I still can't believe they did an audio competition in a season where they have a deaf contestant. That was
Of all the times.
truly wild.
Truly wild. And like, even to a certain extent, putting the pressure cooker in the dark also is like, are we thinking these things through? No. Okay, great. Good to know.
Oh my god.
Also, if you let people sleep and you did the pressure cooker in the morning, that thing might go like 30 hours, you know?
Ooh, like going on a full day? Yeah.
Yeah, like you get some rest and then you're like, okay, you're preparing for it.
That's actually a great point, because they were up for what, like 24 hours? Like, don't you want all 24 hours to be in the pressure cooker? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, because that would have futzed with their nominations more. And they were even doing a bit of a hurry up to Cameron of like, no, we need this done by end of day today. So that could have just pushed everything back. And they know they don't want to futz with their timeline that much.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, let's talk about this cast. Let's move away from the format and get some thoughts on the casuals' opinions of the cast. So, Ira, we're going back to you. Here are your 4 comments. A, Matt is a very handsome guy. B, Heisum is too cocky. I love Jag. C, I'm in love with Cam. Shrug emoji?
Oh,
We can get married now. Lol.
wait, now?
Now.
What, did something happen to this person recently that we need to be aware of?
Maybe they found out about Cam becoming single. That were like, he's separated from his wife. Maybe that's the case. Or D, I'm rooting for Izzy and the blonde lady who left.
Wait. Rooting for them in life? Like, good luck, hope you do well?
Let's see. I would want to lean towards you writing that one, but maybe I'll go with you writing A, because I feel like anyone who loves Matt that much might be a little more effusive than just Matt's very handsome.
I do think Matt is a very handsome guy, but I did write D. Yes, I'm leaning full into it. I love the blonde lady who left. Okay, Mike, let's continue with the cast thoughts and go to you. Here are your 4 comments. A, best move yet. Granny Felicia for the win.
I don't think she's a grandmother.
B, Jared, you're one of my faves, and I love headwear, but you're wearing that scarf all wrong.
Yeah, so this is in reference, I believe, to him wearing the scarf like a little Nona, right? When he ties it underneath his chin.
Thing that he has?
Yeah.
So, okay. C, I'm an American for America. D, Bowie is my horse, meaning she is going to be the one that wins. I think that's my best bet. What's your bet?
Wait, who'd you say for D again? I was laughing too much at I'm an American for America.
I'm an American for America.
Okay, I'll reread D. Bowie is my horse, meaning she is going to be the one that wins. I think that's my best bet. What's your bet?
I think having to explain your term is never a good thing. Starting out with Bowie as your horse, it just feels like it's objectively terrible in so many ways. I'm so tempted to say that you wrote Bowie Jane is your horse, but I feel like the sentence structure is almost AI-like, and that does feel very casual. I'm going to say you wrote I'm an American for America.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I was gonna put a Liberian flag emoji because they love to like mess up the 2 emojis because it looks like the American flag. I thought that might be too much, but yeah, I love Bowie as my horse, meaning she is going to be the one that wins. I think that's my best bet. What's your bet? Just all as one sentence, really sent me.
Bowie's family hired bots.
To write like positive comments.
No, again, she's an NPC. It's just the Matrix calling out to her.
Right. That is her family, right? It's
I did guess like the America one too, if only because I feel like no one casual is funny enough to like know that like everyone watching the feeds is like, are we calling ourselves Americans because we love America?
Yeah, I don't think they know America exists, which is why I had to write that because I found no comments about her. Like she just doesn't exist.
That's the thing. I know that there's been some prognosticating, including between us, Liana, about like, okay, who's going to be the top 4 for this invincibility power? And some people are like, oh, could be America. I don't think so. Like, I just think we make up a fair share of the audience, but as Liana's game indicates, there is a tributary that unleashes into a wide sea. And I think that America just has not pinged nearly enough on the radars. Even if she has a great pressure cooker episode on Sunday, I don't think it'd be enough to get her over the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, who, America, and like, who else do I feel like casuals like don't even really know anything about them in the game? Because like so many people have not really made the final cut of the episode.
Yeah, it's interesting because that was Izzy for, I would say, about half the episode so far. I remember a lot of us were complaining that like a lot of the content went to Sari, went to Felicia, and Izzy was kind of the 3rd member of that trio. We've been seeing a lot more of her, particularly with this Heisum stuff, but I would say that would be her from at least the first half of this season so far.
Yeah, we get a lot of we get a lot of Cam and Red. They love showing them talking together, hicking it out.
Yeah, they don't like Red. The casuals don't like Red. It's
Really?
very bizarre. Yeah, I couldn't find like, I didn't have enough, but they're just like he's faking it. They feel like he's faking it in the
What, like the beard? The beard's fake?
No, I'm not saying he's like spirit gummed his way into the house, but just the more like the way he
It's an
behaves and things like
affect.
that.
Like he's doing fake country talk.
Yes.
To,
Oh my God.
be
Is he like
through
yeah.
it?
he's like redneck Laganja Estranja. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This sun's as dry as your vagina,
Okay. I think the casuals are definitely going to vote for Felicia. Like she seemed to be, from what I could tell, mostly loved, not a lot of negatives. Other than that, I have no idea who is going to end up getting the votes.
Yeah, I think Sari is up there because she's like main character. I do think as much as Jared has been, again, so ick, that's my ick is Jared on the feeds. Like, I think the fact that we haven't
shown it.
Yeah, and his proximity to Sari, he's part of that storyline. I think, and then I think that fourth spot is between like Corey or Matt. I think either Matt's positivity or Corey just being a consistent like comedic presence is going to occupy that fourth slot.
Well, actually, let's talk about Sari and Jared, because that's the next set of comments that I have that are all about these two, because I was kind of shocked at the response from the casuals. So, Ira, this question is for you. Again, all about Sari and Jared. A, I can't wait until mommy and son are voted out. B, if Corey knew she was mother. C, this is unfair. I don't understand why that lady doesn't tell everybody. Or D, Siri again? Can't wait to watch her in Hell's Kitchen next. Laugh emoji.
So how do they spell Siri here?
Cyrie.
They're
not
close.
Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah. She's making the rounds. She's making the rounds.
What was B again?
If Corey knew she was mother.
I'm gonna go with that one.
Nobody's saying mother on the casual.
I read this and thought I wrote it. No, I didn't. Like I was like, oh my God, yes, she is mother. She's mothering.
Did you see calling Izzy that lady? Okay.
I realized I call a lot of people lady. The blonde lady, this lady. It's my favorite casual word. Yes. Okay. So we have two more questions, one for each of you, both about Heisum.
Ooh.
Mike, let's see if you can see what the casuals think. Your comment number one, A, see ya, doc, better bandage that burn.
That you don't,
B,
that's not what you do to a burn.
B, bye, Heisum, ... Hope Mrs. Moonves tells it to you straight. C, Mr. Me is finally gone.
Okay.
Not to be confused with Mimi.
Yes.
D,
Yeah.
well, tell us how you really feel, Heisum, ... Goodness gracious, mister, that was too much.
Goodness gracious. Heavens to Murgatroyd, Heisum. Oh boy. All right. So okay, so we have goodness gracious is D. A was
bandage that burn.
Bandage that burn.
Doc.
B was Mrs. Moonves gives it to you straight.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Mrs. Moonves. I don't think anyone's called her Mrs. Moonves.
The casuals call her Mrs. Moonves.
Wow. So respectful.
I know, right? Very formal of them. They would use the usted form. They're just really all about that. Yeah, no, you better bandage that burn. See ya, doc. That was mine.
Wow.
Yes. Okay.
You know, non-casuals, I feel like, would say Chen Moonves.
Oh.
Because that is still very funny to me that she goes by that.
Yeah, even more formal. Last question here, Ira. Sticking with Heisum. Comment A. They are shaking it up today. everyone's gonna flip and not do what Heimlich wants. Laugh emoji, laugh emoji. Apparently, he was very rude in his veto speech. Microphone emoji, ... clap emoji, side eye emoji.
Are they trying to do one of those Reddit memes?
Oh, yeah, you do not want to. Yeah, it's one of those. Okay, B. OMG. O got snotted and his baby ass said it wasn't fair. Can't stand him. I have never disliked a contestant more.
Oh, got snotted?
Oh, got snotted and his baby ass said it wasn't fair.
Oh, can we like, oh man. Oh God.
The amount of energy I spent trying to remember what that was about. And I was like, oh, the snot competition. I thought they had just like
Yes.
spelled anyway. Oh my God. Okay.
I had visceral chills from the term baby ass. I think I just want
Yeah.
it stricken from the record.
Yeah, well, okay, we'll remove that if I reread it. Okay, C. Heisum is not who you think he is or who he says he could be or who they want. Never has this been done before.
Wait, yeah, can you reread those 3 options apparently that he's not?
Okay. C. Heisum is not who you think he is or who he says he could be or who they want. Never has this been done before. Okay, or D. Heisum says, I command you minions to do a relationships reset. I will tell you when to start and when you must have it completed by. Minions begin. Clap emoji, clap emoji, clap emoji.
Okay.
I'm so
Will you
sorry
read-
for this question.
No.
God.
Okay, can you repeat A again?
A was, they are shaking it up today. Everyone's
Okay.
gonna flip and not do what Heimlich wants. Laugh emoji, laugh emoji. Apparently, he was very rude in his veto speech. Microphone emoji, ... clap emoji, side eye emoji.
I'm gonna go with that one.
I would love to call him Heimlich, and I think I will adopt that. No, I read the AIC one. Heisum is not who you think he is or who he says he could be. Or who they want. Never has this been done before. I just took 3 separate sentences and put them all together as one sentence.
It's perfect. That's how you make
Yeah.
it casual.
That was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are some of the chaotic things that the casuals are thinking about. I don't really know what my main takeaway from this is, apart from the fact that the casuals are still casualing on Facebook, and that's amazing.
Yeah, it's the one constant, I think, in this multiverse across them
Yes.
all.
Yes.
Well, speaking of multiverses, because it's so prominent in specifically film culture, I thought I'd bring in a game that widens the scope to not only Big Brother 25, but all the seasons that came before it. Of course, Ira, you are a pop culture connoisseur. You and Lewis on Keep It are always talking about some different thing, be it a movie, TV show, piece of music that you're listening to every week. So I thought what I would do is go back through BB history and think about all the times that house guests were given the luxury of getting to watch an exclusive screening of a film within the Big Brother house.
Oh, no.
So here's how this is going to work. We're going to go back and forth. I'm going to give each of you 2 movies.
Oh, no.
One of them was watched in the Big Brother house on a particular season. The other I took from the IMDb page of the first movie under the category you might like. So they are similar-esque movies, but only one of them has actually been watched in the Big Brother house. And so we will get to see the voluminous Criterion catalog of stuff that has been watched on Big Brother through the years.
Okay.
Oh, no. Okay. Yes.
All right, Ira, I'll start with you here. So again, one of these was actually watched in the Big Brother house. The other is just a recommendation from IMDb. Your 2 choices are American Pie 2 or Euro Trip.
Euro Trip.
I'm sorry. We have to go back to your first ever season, Big Brother 2. They actually watched a screening of American Pie 2.
I have no memory of this.
None whatsoever.
That's
Black
pretty
this
wild,
out.
though. I mean, spoiler alert, this will be far and away like the most racy movie to be shown in the Big Brother house. Really goes to show those early days where literally the Big Brother nowadays would not be showing an R-rated film.
Yeah.
Well, they were knifing people that season, so there's a
little
lot going
different
on.
world. Yeah.
That season was rated R.
All right, Liana.
Okay.
No strings attached, or What Happens in Vegas. Category is Ashton Kutcher rom-coms. Which one was watched in the Big Brother house?
I want to say No Strings Attached.
I'm sorry, it was What Happens in Vegas. The
Yeah,
hit
this is
movie
gonna go
where
well.
he and Cameron Diaz elope, I believe is the plot of it, and they watched it during Big Brother 9, Till Death Do You Part.
Oh, okay.
Of course, the season full of romance. They want to talk about two complete strangers who get married and are forced to stay together. All right, Ira, back to you. The Other Guys or Blades of Glory. Category is Will Ferrell, perhaps past his prime movies.
What's The Other Guys about?
That's the one with him and Mark Wahlberg. It's a buddy cop film.
Yes. Okay.
I
was thinking of The Nice Guys at first, and I was like, they didn't watch that one. I think it was Blades of Glory.
So I believe you did mix up The Nice Guys with The Other Guys, because that's what they watched in the house.
Okay.
In Big Brother 12, I think this was the one where they, like, because it was a cop thing, there was the one where they were doing, like, the paddy wagons, I think, where they had to, like, walk around in these little cop cars around the house. So...
I should have guessed that they would show a Mark Wahlberg film on Big Brother.
I would have guessed Blades of Glory too, mainly just for the fact that, like, I hope that was the movie they got to watch instead of The Other Guys. I remember hating that movie.
Really? I really enjoyed The Other Guys. I remember watching it being like, look at Michael Keaton back in comedy.
So did my husband. And I was like, I don't like this.
Would you have opted out of the reward?
Yeah, I'll take Blades of Glory.
I always forget too that, like, there's usually like a competition attached to it. And I don't remember like an ice skating competition. So
they like brought in an ice skating rink. Part of the neighborhood.
All right, Liana, back to you. The Ugly Truth or The Proposal?
Okay, well, odds say we're bound to get one right eventually, right? Like the fact that I cannot guess because I absolutely zero memory of any of this. I want to say The Proposal because it sounds familiar.
That is incorrect. The streak continues.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so The Ugly Truth, which was a Katherine Heigl, Gerard Butler romantic comedy, had a challenge about it in Big Brother 11, which was a very ugly season as well.
And one for romance.
All right, Ira, let's get a little serious here. Here's a couple of highfalutin legal dramas that somehow showed up on Big Brother. We have Double Jeopardy or Runaway Jury.
Runaway Jury.
The streak is broken. That is correct.
Yay!
Okay. Double Jeopardy is one of my favorite films. Shout out to Ashley Judd. And I would remember if that had been on Big Brother. So
it was a while ago. It was back in Big Brother 4, which again maybe skews towards them actually taking these things seriously. But yes, they did indeed watch Runaway Jury, starring, I believe it was
John Cusack.
Yeah, John Cusack, Gene Hackman, Dustin Hoffman. Yeah. So pretty stacked.
I feel like my brain also remembers that the trailer for Runaway Jury playing on Big Brother because I definitely probably saw it after they watched that. I saw Runaway Jury in theaters. So,
all right, were you inspired? Did you get the
by
BB
the Big
bump
Brother,
from you?
Yeah.
All right, Liana, your category is Vegas showy films. Your choices are Now You See Me or 21.
I have no idea. I'm going to guess 21.
Your shot in the dark paid off. Unlike Corey's brother, that is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, 21 was the fictionalization of that real story about the Harvard kids or Yale kids, I think, who like counted cards and stole a bunch of money from a casino. And so that was the second, believe it or not, Vegas themed luxury challenge in Big Brother 9. They had 2 Vegas movie themed luxury competitions over the course of one entire season.
Yeah, it was a buy one get one free kind of deal.
Yeah,
all right.
Controversial movie. The main characters were in the real story were actually Asian.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, and they hired Jim Sturgis from across the universe. The original Emma Stone, some would say. All right, back to you, Ira. We're all tied up here, and we're about halfway through the game. Category is probably should be forgotten mid-aughts comedies without a paddle or Shallow Hal.
Without a paddle.
That is correct. You were on a roll. Yes, that showed up during Big Brother 5, of course, without a paddle. Is I think it's Matthew Lillard and I'm trying to think, maybe John Heder or David Spade.
I'm pretty sure he's in it because he was in that like series of movies right after Napoleon Dynamite, and I'm pretty sure that.
You know what? It's Matthew Lillard, Seth Green, and Dax Shepard are 3. This was Dax Shepard's post-punked sort of breakout period, quote unquote. Oh, I didn't realize Homelander's in this. That's surprising in many ways. Yeah, this was also Drew and Diane's first date was to Without a Paddle, and surprisingly, it didn't last.
No.
All right, Liana, we're going back to the comedies here, or at least staying on that train. Talladega Nights or Dodgeball, a true underdog story.
Oh my gosh, how do I not remember this? I'm gonna go with Dodgeball.
That is incorrect. And if you're not in first, you're last. That's where
it
you
was
are
Talladega.
right now. Ira, you remember it?
I feel like there was some sort of like race car involved, like competition.
Yeah, so if I remember correctly, it was in Big Brother All Stars. I think they had to do they had to be a pit crew, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, they had to. Yes, it was a pit crew challenge. They were fixing tires, taking it off. Okay, I do remember that challenge. Yeah.
All right, Ira, let's go back to you. Here are 2 movies that you have probably talked about on Keep It at this point, and one of them was screened on Big Brother. Bros or Spoiler Alert?
It's Bros.
It is Bros.
It is Bros. And knowing Billy, I do remember sending him I think a tweet that was like it was like something about like the first gay feature film to ever be screened in the Big Brother house.
Did he respond?
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that was that was a funny one. I think that was like last season.
Yeah, it was last season. That was the they did I think that was the rainbow slip and slide, if I remember correctly, that Michael
Yes. It was funny. It was that, and then it was like I just remember like the contestants like having their like little sound bites, being like, oh, such a great movie, like, oh, like seeing this gay story, like presented in a thing like this. It was very wholesome for Big Brother. Glad
That's
Jeff
the thing.
didn't watch that one.
I do sort of love the like, when they do the sound bites. Now they do it nowadays because of the strikes of like catching people outside the theater to give their thoughts. It's doing it with like an under duress audience of like, you just watched Without a Paddle, which was the first entertainment you've seen in 65 days. What did you think of it? Please give this movie a ringing endorsement.
I mean, truly, if you're in the house for that long, I'm like, you could stick many movies before me and I would have a great time.
Yeah, I have the same theory with Survivor. That's why Applebee's tastes so good when you're out there, because you're just like, this is the first real food I've eaten in weeks.
Okay, well, let's not attack Applebee's.
Look, I say this
Love
as
Applebee's.
I say this as the person that's like, have you seen the meme that it's like Olive Garden is like the Italian Applebee's, and then you have the steak? Like, I am a fan of all of the Applebee's. Okay, like I like Olive Garden way more than I'd like to admit.
Yeah, you're eating good in the neighborhood, and we know that Big Brother takes place in a neighborhood. So
exactly, I could go for their steaks every day.
I love the Times Square Applebee's. I'm sorry, I go.
All right.
Yes, so good.
Let's move on here. Maybe you will continue to feast like those very, discounted apps at the Times Square Applebee's. Liana, The Italian Job or Four Brothers?
I apparently black out these pieces of the show whenever there's paid promotion. I'm going to go with The Italian Job.
I'm sorry, it was Four Brothers, which is what Jared is going to be leaving by the end of this with Matt and Cam and Corey and everybody. But yeah, Four Brothers, I totally forgot about. So this is starring, of course, BB favorite Mark Wahlberg. And the titular Four Brothers are him, Garrett Hedlund, Tyrese Gibson, and Andre 3000 in his feature film debut.
Oh.
Yeah, an Antoine Fuqua film. I like that movie, actually. It's very weird casting, but I liked it. I remember when Garrett Hedlund was like a thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like a big time capsule, right? That's the time laser. It's Garrett Hedlund.
Yeah.
True.
All right, Ira, let's give you another one here. The House or The Goods? Both comedies that begin with the.
Okay, I don't even remember what either of these movies are about.
I got love your IMDb Bloom here. The House was an Amy Poehler, Will Ferrell film about them turning their house into a casino to raise money. The Goods was a Jeremy Piven workplace comedy set at a car dealership.
The House.
I'm sorry, it was The Goods because
wow.
You may remember this, that Jeremy Piven visited the Big Brother house to pimp out The Goods.
I've not seen The House, but I definitely have seen it like advertised on some TV show. So it might have been, could have been any of the other ones.
That's
I mean,
fair,
it could have been Survivor.
Seeped in.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I do remember, and Liana, it features your boy Ken Jeong. I remember very vividly. He takes a dye pack to the face, I believe, in one of his first film roles.
Love that for him.
And that was another BB11. BB11 and BB9 really did the double feature with movie rewards. I really wish they brought that back. I guess they did last year with Bros. So
Jeremy visiting the house is so.
It's weird.
Was Entourage still on then?
Yeah, so this was Big Brother 11. So this was 2010, or maybe 2009 because we doubled up in one season. So it was, yeah, I'd say it's actually.
It was still on.
Yeah,
it was. The movie didn't come out until 2011. So.
Yeah, and he had just won, I think, his fourth and last Emmy for Entourage as well. So he was burning white hot in more ways than one. All right, final one here, Liana. The last category is beloved musical films. Hairspray or Dear Evan Hansen.
Again, how do I not remember either of these on Big Brother at any point in time? I want to say it was Dear Evan Hansen.
That is correct.
Okay. Okay.
This honestly is one of the oofier ones in retrospect. I think like the other ones we could be like, oh, what happens in Vegas? Like Ashton Kutcher romantic lark. Just considering how terrible the Dear Evan Hansen movie was. This is the one I arguably feel the worst for with these Big Brother 23 house guests. Also, it's like not happy at all. I remember there were like Claire and Alyssa Lopez were like crying in each other's arms by the end of it. This doesn't necessarily feel like a good experience.
Yeah, definitely choices, but I don't know if they can really be beggars, choosing beggars when it comes to what movies want to advertise in the Big Brother house. So they go for it.
All right, Ira, you squeak this one out. You are the dominator. You know the most about movies screened in the Big Brother house. Should we put out a loose prediction? Do we think one is coming our way? We did do Dear Evan Hansen 2 years ago, Bros last year. Now,
Yeah.
no, well, this is
Uh-oh.
that. Can they
What?
promote it? Is the question, right? Because we had Ben
They
Platt
can
years
promote
ago.
it. They just can't have an actor involved.
That's the thing. You
No
can't
one's
you can't
visiting the
tweet
house.
Billy Eichner again about like, look at you
Yeah.
having this movie. So what are they going to do?
I have no idea.
Just Julie talking about it.
Yeah,
That feels
promoting it.
like the worst possible option.
No, they'll like give some lines to, some of the people in the house. I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
that could be something.
some scab social media star.
Kim Kardashian
Oh
will come
yeah,
in.
yes, exactly. The influencers will be there.
Well, if they're under contract with CBS already, I guess it's not scabbing. So it could be like any like previous house guest, it could be like Frankie Grande.
Oh, that'd be
Mm.
interesting. Yeah, so now they're doing promotion of a movie they're not in because they happened to do the time laser several weeks ago.
Yeah.
They could do a Cody Calafiore movie and have him there. Maybe. Do you think that would count? Because he was a former
one of
Big
the
Brother house guest.
one of the Candace Kane. I wonder if
Yeah.
do you think that's still happening because of the strike? Candace Kane's been shut
Yeah.
down?
I'd rather
Yeah.
see Pauly, but
Especially with his
I'm not
short time on the challenge. Bring him back.
I know. That's my preferable Calafiore brother. I feel like I used to like Cody, but I turned against him after the Traitors.
Ooh. Yeah, he I feel like that definitely hurt his stock, the Traitors, for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
Well, I
Whereas
don't
Cody
know.
helped people like 30.
It made my night to see his live stream reaction to Sari being on. He literally looked like he saw a ghost. Like you see PTSD manifesting within this man, where he just feels like he's back in Scotland again, waiting to be betrayed by her.
A true horror.
I know he was like so big mad at the reunion though. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't support you right now.
Especially, Paulie's done so much change. Like, I'm so proud of him.
Imagine him coming in and being like, "Hey, everybody, it's me, Pauly Calafiore. I'm here to promote the Marvels.
Already TV Gold.
We know I'm all about girl power." Well, to finish things off, as we do at the end of every B&B podcast, we shine the spotlight over to our guest. And we have been speaking voluminously about the strikes. Of course, those are ongoing. Ira, is there anything in particular, a charity or cause that you would like to draw a spotlight towards for our viewers out there?
Yes, I took a screenshot of it because I remember nothing. So in addition to supporting writers and actors who are currently on strike, you can also support the production assistants who work to make your favorite films and TV shows. You can go to, it's the Go for PAs Alliance. So it's Go for PAS Alliance.org.
Amazing. And yeah, considering like as much as the casuals might dunk on the malarkey that happens Big Brother production wise, these sets, these ridiculous costumes, these sound bites wouldn't happen without the backbreaking work of production assistants. And while we're obviously in a time where we're trying to unveil more about, the misfortunes that befall some people in our industry, I think production assistants should totally be a part of that. No matter what rung you are on in the ladder, you should be able to climb to great heights.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we climbed to such great heights here having you on, Ira. This was such an amazing
Over the
time.
top.
Yeah, over the top.
OTT.
Remember in that first week when they shaded it by being like, here's a headline that will definitely not happen. Big Brother OTT renewed for another season. I admire the gumption from being so trolly. Well, of course, if people want to check out all the other great work you're doing, you are out there on those interwebs. You are podcasting every week. Why don't you plug anything and everything you have going on?
Just listen to Keep It every week. They don't have anything else going on.
You just interviewed Idina Menzel, which is amazing.
Yes. Yeah. So, and hopefully, now with actors striking, maybe we'll be interviewing more reality TV contestants. So there'll be maybe some Big Brother people or something coming up. So.
All right, we shall see. Liana, do you have anything coming up? First off, a very hearty welcome back officially to these BB streets. I hope you're ready.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I have been observing in the shadows of the nether, I suppose. So it's so nice to be back out in the light to talk
How big
about
is the
everything
nether
that's
organ
going on.
shadow?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
Very
Anyway,
Wait, what was that?
okay, so yes, I am just working and being annoying online, and you can follow me on Twitter at Liana RHAP if you're interested.
You can follow me at a Mike Bloom type. Of course, I have the distinct pleasure of getting to interview this fantastic cast every week. If you want to check it out over at parade.com. I've already talked with Kirsten. I've talked with Riley. I've talked with Heisum. All really fun interviews. I'm also doing coverage of the challenge. I know we've spoken about it. Ira, have you been watching the Challenge USA at all, considering the Big Brother Survivor contingencies?
Yes, I have watched up to Paulie's sad elimination, but
You said no
about
more.
it. I was actually, it was funny. So I was messaging Paulie about your interview, which is great,
Thank you.
and then being like, because I had told him that I wanted him to come on, and I was like, come on, I was like, I saw your interview was up, but I hadn't listened to it yet because I hadn't watched the episode yet. And I was like, I want you to come on, like, let's talk about the challenge this season, etc. And then, like, I watched the episode and I DM'd him again, like, oops, I did not realize you got eliminated this week. Very unexpected.
Yeah,
I know.
very much so. But I very much recommend it. I think it's honestly the most I've enjoyed the challenge in quite some time. It's been very fun, especially being a fan of these people from Survivor, Big Brother, The Amazing Race. So stick around.
Really fun.
Yeah, stick around after these episodes air of Big Brother. They're on right afterwards. They're happening. I think this is the last week that they're doing 2 episodes a week. So, get it while the getting is good. And I will say as well, we are nearing the end of August. We are about a month out from the premieres of Survivor and The Amazing Race. And what I will say is, like, keep your eyes skyward, I should say, for perhaps some announcements coming your way in just a smidge. Otherwise, again, keep track of everything I'm doing at a Mike Bloom type. I somehow stumbled ass backwards into getting Cameo over the course of these past few weeks. So if for some reason you want me to say something or sing something, or most of the time it's been dress up like something, I will do anything and everything for the low, low price of $10. I will give my review of one of these movies that were screened at the Big Brother house sight unseen, just based on watching a trailer. Do that. It's on Cameo. Look me up at a Mike Bloom type. I'm there as well. That's going to do it for this installment of the B&B. So for those that don't remember the way Liana and I do things just because of our schedules and the fact that the Survivor season, it's on its way, we're going to check in every 3 to 4 weeks on here. I think it's a good way to sort of look back on the past month or so. And the fact that we are only a quarter of the way through knows that we'll have quite a few check-ins. And we're going to have some other really fun, notable guests, have some names in the works at the moment. But before you know it, you're going to blink your eye. There's going to be about 15 plans to flip on the eviction vote, and we'll be back again talking about more of this delightful season with this delightful cast. Thank you all so much for listening. Ira, thank you so much. This was such a great time. We'll be back in a few weeks talking more Big Brother 25. Until then, everybody, we'll check you out at your next stay.